Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Welcome to the vibrant, totally radical world of Afrofuturism. Today, we're diving deep into how this movement proves that reclaiming the past is actually the ultimate key to authoring the future. We're going to explore how visionary creators took the incredibly painful reality of historical erasure and, through art, transformed it into boundless cosmic empowerment.
So, what exactly is it? Well, author Yatasha L. Womack brilliantly defines this concept as an intersection of imagination, technology, the future, and liberation. Now, the actual term Afrofuturism was coined back in 1993 by cultural critic Mark Derry, but the artistic spirit behind it, that goes way, way back. It's this powerful fusion of science fiction, historical fiction, and Afrocentrism, a philosophy that actively tackles the concerns of the African diaspora through the lens of technoculture.
To get our heads around all of this, here's our game plan. First, we'll define the vision, then explore the roots of the aesthetic, break down the principles of the movement, look closely at alienation and the diaspora, and finally, wrap up with some amazing modern masterpieces.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, defining the vision and looking at Afrofuturist aesthetics.
Curator Ingrid Lafleur really hit the nail on the head with this quote. She describes it as a way of imagining possible futures through a Black cultural lens. Think about it. When a group has been historically sidelined from the dominant narratives about what tomorrow looks like, stepping up to paint a highly advanced technological future through your own cultural lens is a massive, radical act of self-determination.
Honestly, you're probably already a huge fan of Afrofuturism without even realizing it. I mean, it runs through so many massive pop culture touchstones. We've got the cosmic avant-garde jazz of Sun Ra. We've got Marvel's Black Panther projecting the uncolonized, high-tech African nation of Wakanda. There's Janelle Monáe's stunning cyborg aesthetics. And, of course, the extraterrestrial spaceship-flying mythos of Parliament Funkadelic. All these incredible artists are taking space and technology and blending them with Black sovereignty and just undeniable style.
Moving on to Section 2, Roots of the Aesthetic. We're going to look at a group called Afrofuturism.
Let's rewind a bit to the south side of Chicago. In 1967, a group called OBAC collaborated on this monumental mural called The Wall of Respect, depicting Black heroes. This sparked a rapid, revolutionary evolution. By 1968, artists like Jeff Donaldson, Wadsworth Jarrell, Jay Jarrell, Barbara Jones Hogu, and Gerald Williams formed COBRA, which stood for the Commune of Bad Relevant Artists. What a name, right? A year later, they evolved into Afrocobra, embracing a rising Afrocentric ideology, and published a manifesto to forge a completely new, transnational Black aesthetic.
Speaking about that monumental wall of respect, founding member Barbara Jones Hogu noted it was a visual symbol of nationalism and liberation. For Afrocobra, art was never just for show. It wasn't meant to sit quietly on the white walls of a stuffy gallery. It was a passionate, functional call for freedom that everyday people in the community could actually access and relate to.
Which brings us nicely to Section 3, Principles of the Movement, where we'll unpack the Afrocobra Manifesto.
So in 1969, Afrocobra released a three-pronged manifesto called 10 in Search of a Nation. They actually had rules for their art. It had to achieve three specific goals: definition, which meant dealing with the past; identification, which meant relating to the present; and direction, which meant looking into the future. It's literally a complete timeline of empowerment, requiring that art bridge a reclaimed past with a limitless future.
And this was a massive paradigm shift. While the dominant Eurocentric culture of the time was all about art for art's sake, creating just because it looks nice, Afrocobra demanded something entirely different. They demanded that art be functional, educational, and deeply rooted in serving the community. They were carving out their own aesthetic identity completely separate from the mainstream.
Visually, what did this trans-African sensibility look like? Well, get ready for bright, luminescent Kool-Aid colors. They also used rhythmic free symmetry and a really cool concept called mimesis at midpoint, which means the art hovered exactly halfway between pure abstraction and realistic portraiture. They used bold text alongside positive images of Black people. And it wasn't just paintings either. It spanned into radical fashion. Jarrell literally designed a two-piece revolutionary suit that featured an actual belt and bullet trim. I mean, how incredibly bold is that? They celebrated universal Black culture across absolutely every medium.
Okay, let's dive a little deeper now into Section 4, Alienation and the Diaspora. We're going to look at a very specific sci-fi metaphor.
Now, this is a heavy but staggering concept within Afrofuturist art. The aesthetic often equates the profound historical trauma of the Middle Passage and slavery to an alien abduction. The idea is that enslaved people were forced to be the first aliens in a completely foreign land, with their histories and ties to Africa intentionally erased. Afrofuturism takes that horrific alienation and uses science fiction to flip it, turning a distressing past into a powerful cosmic reclamation of identity.
This brings us to a really foundational observation. Mark Deary noted that African American culture is Afrofuturist at its very heart. Because, think about it, the act of surviving that brutal historical erasure and then reclaiming agency over your own story through art, music, and culture, that is the defining essence of Afrofuturism. You survive the apocalypse of your history, and you build an entirely new future from the fragments.
Let's bring it all back home in Section 5, Modern Masterpieces and the Rise of Global Afrofuturism.
A massive turning point for this movement was Festac 77. Picture this, it's 1977 and over 15,000 artists from the global African diaspora gather in Lagos, Nigeria. Afrocobra members actually traveled to Africa to share their aesthetics on this incredible global stage. It was a profound family reunion that proved Black identity and creative power aren't bound by geography. They are a shared, completely limitless cultural force.
Fast forward to today, and that legacy is absolutely everywhere. We see it in the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Afrofuturist Period Room, which envisions the past and future of Seneca Village, a real historically destroyed African-American settlement. We see it in exhibits at the Tate Modern. We see it in Ruthie Carter's phenomenal Oscar-winning costume designs for Black Panther, which meticulously used indigenous African designs to imagine an uncolonized future. And we see it bursting off the pages in Tim Fielder's vibrant comic art. They are all seamlessly weaving indigenous roots with high-tech speculative futures.
I want to leave you with this really provocative question that Mark Deary posed. Can a community whose past has been deliberately rubbed out imagine possible futures? Looking at the vibrant, undeniable existence of Afrofuturism, the answer is a resounding yes. It challenges us all to realize that for these creators, rewriting the past isn't just about making beautiful art. It is the absolute required step to authoring a liberated future.